What is up, guys? It's Adam, aka Marf, and this is Marfoogle News, the only live call-in show on YouTube. Alright, not really, but we are somewhat average. We will be right back after this. We're gonna go to a hoedown. Right down the name. NATO's taking over the internet. Never gonna get out of it. We've got good folks here, like Earthworm Jim and Bad Billy Fucking. Doesn't matter who gives a. Drinking my soda with JD Fournette and Baby Yoda. What is up, guys? It's Adam, aka Marf, and this is Marfoogle News. If you've never been here before, this is a live call-in show, and we are going to go over the news. We have Sundays and Mondays off here, so we've got a lot to catch up on. But not only that, a lot to talk about. We've got some serious subjects, and it's getting pretty crazy. The terrifying thing that I cannot talk about here on YouTube, we are most likely going to put in writing and put out via the alert system, so make sure you get on the alert system. It's revolving around the NATO alliance. It's revolving around all of this, everything that's on your phone, everything that's on your computer. It is absolutely nuts. The purge is believed to have started. We just lost and then got back True News. They actually have, I think, 7 videos up. The rest, thousands privated. There's so many things going on right now. So we're going to talk about that. Of course, here at Marfoogle News, we try to get out as much information as possible and do it while not breaking the rules. It's pretty hard. This show is change is coming, and that is because it is, and it's going to be a big time change. So we're going to talk about a lot of things. If you want to follow along, if you've never been here before, you can go to marfooglenews.com. And just to show you, once you go there, you will actually see this thumbnail. And then once you click on that thumbnail, you'll see it right here on the main screen. We're going to talk about, man, now 4 cities compromised. 4 cities were broken into cyber attacks. This is nuts. You can actually follow along with the articles that are down below. You can do this on a second device, or you can go back a year down the road and use this for your research. So pretty awesome that, that is there for you guys. Now, we're going to talk about several stories. The real reason that U.S. government is so secretive about UFOs, the Russian spy ship that was off of the water doing unsafe maneuvers, or so they say, and a lot of the things that have switched. Some of the things I'll be saying today are not in an article because I'm going to express some opinion. I very rarely do, and when I do, it's usually because I have just heard something quite disturbing. So I'm going to go over that, and I'm going to go over some really crazy things that I'm hearing. Before we do that, just want to let you guys know the number is 224400-MARF. You guys can call in live. It is now 9:13 p.m., the 17th of December 2019. Of course, Eastern time, it is right after midnight. You can call in, again, 224400-MARF, and you will get Dex. I actually have a whole screen here. He's over at Marfoogle Studios East, and he can actually put anything you guys suggest, or if you call in with an article, a video, a document, a picture, he can actually get that to me instantly, and then we can show you guys and end up sharing it with the whole Foogle Fam. So, some of you guys are already mentioning about earthquakes. Again, we are doing some implementations to add some different things in there. One thing I want to add in is earthquakes and a constant kind of stream. Some people would say, well, why don't you just, download an earthquake app or this or that? I know that a good chunk of our viewers are not technically savvy, so we want to make it easy so, that we can try to do something easier. So we'll see if it's possible. If it is, we will add it to something like our website. Or in the future, hopefully we get some other things going. So, Dex, I wanted to do a sound check with you real quick and introduce you, of course.
Hello, Adam. I am here, and hello, Foogle Fam.
Okay, so you actually, we were just talking before the show about AI quantum computing, which nobody cares about. Surprisingly, like a lot of people just honestly don't even think about it. They think, well, whatever, this. But now it is actually being implemented with NATO. It is being implemented with VR, and they are running thousands of simulations that overlook everything. It's absolutely nuts. Now, even you were kind of pushed back by that. You even think like that's a little bit far out, huh?
Well, that is. It's extremely far out, but it's not far fetched to believe that somebody like NATO or like any significant power on this world would want to take and leverage things like artificial intelligence and supercomputing and even quantum computing to actually do predictions. And that's what they're talking about being able to do here. And then layer that in with VR, and you actually get a visual representation of that predictability or of that analysis that's being done. So it's pretty amazing what we're talking about, and it's not surprising to think that these people aren't trying to do it. The more power they get, the more control they have over the world.
Well, and then one thing that we went over the other night, and I don't know if it was, was it Renee Thomas that called in talking about the Bilderberg? We shouldn't even say it. We should say the Beberg agenda on their website about 2019, and they talked about literally one of the actual items on discussion was weaponization of social media, and then another one was, I want to say, oh man, I almost want to say realization or something like this. Essentially, what they have on the NATO's docket is exactly that. They are talking about how the internet needs to be controlled in some way. There's all sorts of things, and anybody who talks about this is getting knocked off. So, like I said, there's going to be some stuff that we're going to put in there that is actually terrifying. No joke, like we've got to put a smile on our face and do the show and bring new people in. But at the same time, the information that we're going to start sharing through our other outlets is really scary. I mean, like this is, I think by the time we are done getting all the information out that we're getting, even the haters will be like, whoa, this is actually happening. People that, probably just hate my show, that tune in to, hate on me, they will be looking and secretly reading these things and going, what the hell is going on? That's how bad this is. Like, this is real. So again, we want to be commercially viable. So we are, of course, making this show aesthetically pleasing, and we're going to continue to improve on that and make it as family friendly as well as possible. On our though, on our website, marfooglenews.com, we're going to use that. We're going to use other outlets as we can to try to get out information. Some people say, oh, you should do stuff on Patreon. You can't do, you have to use an outlet. So you actually have to put it on YouTube to even put it on Patreon. So, that's like a null point. Not to mention that's a paid service. There's other free services that we can do, DLive, this kind of stuff. So we're looking into that. So we're going to do that. You guys are going to be blown away. I mean, literally blown away. We're seeing it happen in front of us, and it's actually above who we thought it was. So with that agenda that's going on, it's absolutely nuts. I don't even know, we might just disappear. That's how crazy this is. So we'll talk about some of the news. We'll get back into that here in a minute, and we'll touch back on that. In the meanwhile, we're going to go hit some stories. Mystery as several bright objects filmed in splitting in two above New Mexico. Oh, hold on here. Jeez, this thing wants to get up and leave. What is going on here? Sorry, my mic is having Steve issues. Come on, Mike. There we go. Thank you, Baby Yoda. Here is $10 so you can fix your RP78 bathroom. Joking. Merry Christmas. So it says mystery is several bright objects filmed splitting in two above New Mexico. So this is pretty crazy. It says here, this is the part of the video. It says It says, these orbs are shooting something into the sky. Watch closely. Now, we've seen actual videos like this before. It says, a fleet of UFOs have been filmed, quote, splitting in two above southern New Mexico in the U.S., a conspiracy theorist has sensationally claimed. I hate how they just straight up label it. It's like you are trying to write a article about him, and then you have to call him that. Why can't you just call him a content creator or something else? It says the bizarre footage was taken by Chris, whose last name was not given, before being sent to popular YouTube channel. Why can't he just call it a dang channel? They have to put that in there. Like, it doesn't. This just annoys the crap out of me. It appears to show at least 8 bright objects hovering in formation in the blue sky. Now, it says, at first glance, it seems like they couldn't be simply a flock of birds, but the YouTube user soon dismisses it when he spots something bizarre. You're going to see these orbs split into two, he claims, just as two smaller orbs seem to split from the larger ones in the sky. Now, I have actually seen videos like this. I have seen one instance where it was only one object that looked like it split into two with my own eyes, but it was nowhere near, this is multiple objects splitting in half, like almost like atoms or something, like some sort of message in the sky. It says a fleet of UFOs spotted over New Mexico. So now let's see here. It says, I've never seen anything like this, and birds don't look like this. Mr. MBB333 also pointed out that the altitude of the objects, which seemed to be too high for any known animals to fly at, and it says, he added, they're not flying in a traditional V pattern like birds do. They just kind of are up there wandering around. The baffling chip has sparked a fierce debate after it was posted on YouTube December 13, garnering more than 44,000 views. Some suggested that the objects were part of the government's proposed Space Force fleet, with one asking, the space program possibly. Another said, very weird, it's like they're ejecting something, exchanging energy. One believed they weren't splitting in two, but, quote, firing upon each other. But there were those who were more skeptical and offered a more rational explanation. They said it could have been controlled drones that are stacked to split. I don't think so, but I did actually think the first thing that I thought of when I saw this was some sort of, government drone program or those swarm drones that they are testing out. What do you guys think? Give me a call if you've ever seen anything like this, or if you have footage of something like this, pictures, or if you've seen this exact thing happen in person. I'd love to hear it. 224-400-MARF. If you want to check out the article, go to marfooglenews.com. Now, it says the real reason the U.S. government is so secretive about UFOs. 2 years ago Sunday, the New York Times broke the stunning story of a secret Pentagon program to study identified flying objects. I should say unidentified. That story led me to delve into this strange world. I've learned some interesting stuff about UFOs since then, but there's one problem. It says the United States government makes it very hard to figure out what and where UFO-related stuff is going on. Is that because the government is behind some great conspiracy to cover up the proof of alien visitation to Earth? Or is it that the government is in cahoots with the alien species to create human-alien hybrids? Yeah, I'm sure there's some of you that have an opinion on that one. What I believe is really going on here is the few individuals in the U.S. government who know about this issue believe the phenomena might be a threat, and they don't know how to deal with it. So what informs the government's fear? Well, first off, the nuclear issue. If you ask a Pentagon representative about a specific UFO incident, as I did most recently last week, you'll get a boring response like, our aviators train as they fight. Any intrusions that may compromise the security of our operations, tactics, or procedures is of great concern. As the investigation of unidentified aerial phenomena sightings is ongoing, we will not discuss individual sighting reports or observations. So this is kind of like the canned response that they, pump out all the freaking time. And in fact, they pumped out something very similar to this officially after kind of the hot musket thing, and it was just like, it was so going around everything. It's like, they're trained in this kind of response. It says, by aviators, the Pentagon is referencing the particular frequency which UFOs tend to interact with U.S. naval aviators operating off of aircraft carriers. But what the Pentagon is leaving out is why the UFOs tend to run into those naval aviators. And that cuts to the heart of why the Pentagon is concerned about UFOs. Now, they've actually just changed the rules in the entire Navy, so every staff member, it doesn't matter what boat you're on, they are instructed to tell right away when they see a UFO. Now, to the public, even normies, they would think, oh, well, they're saying that because, China or some other country has new technology that we don't know about. To the average UFO watcher, they're thinking, this is because this is part of disclosure. I would really like to hear what you guys think. If you want to call in at 224-400-MARF, let me know what you think this is. Dex, what do you think is going on? Do you think this is all part of Space Force stuff, or are you still unsure?
Well, I mean, if you look at what they say in this article, and then you start to think about it logically, if you were an alien force and you were coming at first, what's the strongest potential thing that you need to make sure you understand? Well, the U.S. Navy is pretty big and pretty strong and pretty spread out. So that would make sense that would be a target for analysis by someone else, right? And then at the same time, we've heard reports in the past that, nuclear things have been turned off. Like, sites have been shut down, systems have been turned off, and they think that this is from some sort of external force. So I can easily see why the Pentagon would look at this as a threat, especially if things are happening that they have no control over. After all, they think that they are the most powerful thing on Earth, and therefore they have control over everything. And when something is stronger than them, it's going to be in their best interest not to actually say that and to actually back off and say, oh, we don't know, or we'll hide and we'll cover this up. So I kind of believe that there's probably something there that's actually happening.
Well, and think about this, as far as that's like straight out of a movie. If they're saying, there's been the movie plots or the book plots where aliens come down to stop us from destroying ourselves, right? They end up coming down, and right before the end of the world, they come and they go, well, no, we're trying to save your species. And then they step in, right? As far as turning off a nuclear device or a nuclear, plant or something, maybe that was them saying, these things are going to kill you, turn these things off and get rid of them. It's just weird that's actually happening, where these things are going offline and all of a sudden, there's some sort of weird, orb in the sky and takes off. I mean, what do you guys think? Again, I'd love to hear from you guys. You guys know the number. It's scrolling down below. Because the government's assessment, though they won't admit it, is that UFOs are popping up near the aircraft carriers due to those carriers being nuclear powered. Again, why would the UFOs be drawn to nuclear power? Note also that the UFOs also like to pop up near nuclear submarines and Air Force nuclear weapons bases. Now recognize that this paradigm has been occurring since the Manhattan Project operation in Los Alamos, New Mexico, and also at nuclear sites in the Soviet Union and Russia. So UFOs are actually visiting the different nuclear plants. What if they're like checking up on us and they're like, oh, the wrong person's got it, or they're making sure we don't use it or something? I don't know. What do you guys think? Or do you think that they don't even exist? Do you think these are fallen angels getting ready to protect us from the blast or something if some idiot blows something up? There's tons of different opinions in my email box, and man, there's so many wide varying theories on this. It's crazy. Again, we don't want to argue about this kind of stuff. I do see a lot. People end up arguing in the chat, or they say this or that. The whole point of the Foogle Fam is that we can all get along and see each other, others' opinions, be open-minded, go, okay, that's cool, I'll listen, I'll hear it out, and then, tell your side of it instead of arguing what they're wrong and I'm right, this and that. Now, it is pretty crazy. They say the modern UFO phenomenon really gets going at exactly the same time as the Manhattan Project. So, nuclear bombs. Has humanity's perfection of nuclear energy piqued someone's or something's curiosity in us? And the weirdness of a Muamua coming swinging into our universe, and we know it's from out because it's on a different trajectory. It comes by and it swung right by Earth. I mean, it was scary to see the trajectory of that thing basically line perfectly up with Earth out of all the places it could have swung by. Just, relatively close for some sort of interdimensional being, and then takes off and actually speeds up as it left. That's what's weird. I mean, if this is a fact, accepted by 99% of mainstream and everybody, that's pretty crazy. It's surprising that, and by the way, Harvard professors, very respectable people that basically could lose their job if they, if you think that they're crazy or they're cuckoo, they are actually saying that, that it's possibly a spaceship of some sort. So again, this is a really, really, really crazy subject, and it's only getting crazier. It's like every single day in the news, there's something. All right, so we're going to move on. There's quite a few serious stories here, and I would like to get your opinion on them. So feel free to lay a comment down below if you're watching the replay, or if you're in live chat right now, please let me know what you think. It says Air Force General NK Christmas gift could be a long-range missile test. Now, I've seen my audience say this the first time this was mentioned. In fact, Dex said this the first episode when we talked about this when it first came out. I've heard you guys time after time get this basically a week ago. I mean, come on. Yeah, that's probably what it is. It's a Christmas gift. Well, he's probably going to send some sort of missile test, and it's probably going to make CNN or one of the news networks in it, or all of them, and it's going to go over Japan. It will set off some, false alarm, and then it will go a record length of distance. And, it's like a never-ending cycle with these guys. It says a top U.S. Air Force general on Tuesday said he expects NK's, quote, Christmas gift to the United States to be a long-range missile test. He says, what I would expect is some type of long-range ballistic missile would be the gift. It's just a matter of, does it come on Christmas Eve? Does it come on Christmas Day? Does it come after the New Year? General Charles Brand, commander of the Pacific Air Forces and air component commander for the U.S. Indo-Pacific Command, said at a breakfast roundtable in a response to a question from the Hill. By the way, this entire thing was just his, label. Pressed later in the roundtable on what NK could do, Brown said that there's, quote, a range of possibilities. He says, I think that there's a range of things that could occur, he told reporters. I think there's also a possibility of the self-imposed moratorium. What do you think of this, Dex? Do you think that this is something that is kind of super obvious? I mean, you said it the first minute I read it.
Yeah, he's just, it's bound to happen. He's the screaming teenager that's just trying to get attention, and T-Man's not giving it to him. He's kind of preoccupied at the moment. If NK hasn't noticed. So yeah, it's bound to happen. Something's going to happen. I just hope that it is a test and it really goes off as a test and nothing bad actually happens from it. But I would expect to see something any time in the next couple weeks.
Well, it's kind of like a teenager. You tell to be home by 11, and they come home at 3 a.m. It's just like it's something is going to happen. Essentially, if you have a teenager, and it's just it's never ending until they're out of the house. Which we need to get Kim out of the house. He needs to turn 18 right now. Says, I think there's a range, and it says, as diplomatic efforts at a denuclearization deal with NK flounder, Pyongyang recently threatened to deliver an unwelcome, quote, Christmas gift to the United States. NK has also set a year-end deadline for the U.S. to soften its negotiating stance, or it will take, quote, a new path. You know, he pounds his chest like every single month, and for the last like 3 years, I mean, well, for the last ever, it's been like this, and it's like he constantly does the opposite of what people want him to do. I'd love to hear your guys' opinion on it. Give me a call, 224-400-MARF. Viktor Leonov, Russian spy ship operating in unsafe manner off of South Carolina. I don't know why I did that in an accent, but, you know. A Russian spy ship is conducting operations off the coast of eastern United States, and it has been engaged in unsafe activities near a U.S. nuclear missile submarine base, according to the Coast Guard. It says the Russian ship Viktor Leonov has been shadowed periodically off of the coast for years and is also suspected of spying on undersea internet cables in addition to U.S. military bases. So I want to cut in real quick and, you know, tell you kind of backstory on some of these things that we've covered. Is they had the submarine go off. You know, me and Dex covered this a while back, where this submarine actually caught on fire. It did not sink. They actually recovered it. 14 sailors died, and this is something that I am still, you know, just scratching my head over, is 14 Russian sailors died on a super secretive submarine. It was a research sub, so this wasn't like an armed sub. It was a nuclear sub, but this sub caught fire. It's one of the most secretive subs out there, and it killed 14 sailors. At their funerals, a top official in the Russian military said to the families, basically, your family members died avoiding a planetary catastrophe. So they basically saved the world, right? And we still don't know what the heck that was. Some think that they were underwater dealing with cables or something, or doing something. Some think that they had a fight with U.S. submarines, and it was a back and forth. By the way, this research sub never went alone. It was always escorted by a armed sub, because this sub was so important. If it was recovered or anything like that, it had information. They said, you know, basically this was, honestly, they say, even my source says that even top officials in the United States, information, you know, in the very top clearance, they know very little about it, or at least they don't know as much as they want to know about that sub. So when that happened, some think that they went down and they were trying to fix some sort of underwater volcano or something happened. Very weird story. Now, as far as this goes, we have talked about the previous thing where there's these research ships and these Russian ships that have these drones or underwater submarines that they can remote control that can snip our connection to Europe. We have an internet connection that is underwater sea cables, and they have actually threatened, they've said all sorts of things. Basically, they could go down and cut them, and that would actually cut our hardline connection to Europe. Now, if they knock out the satellites out of the sky, cut the cables, we would have no connection with any of our allies. That's a big deal. And, you know, they're talking, you know, they've actually come up with a lot of plans. Now, NATO and all these other people are talking about that Russia's not the big bad wolf, that China is. So it's all switching towards them. So there's a lot of things going on right now that they are actually worried about. And this is people that are in, you know, secretive positions that are not telling this to the public, are saying this. That is why it is leaking out. And so many people like myself and other outlets are covering this, because it's getting out that, you know, now one weird thing is with the stuff that I wanted to talk about with the internet and the slow switch over to this new controlled system where nobody that actually has any kind of dissent in it, you know, in their voice, if they tremble with dissent or even a question or curiosity, they're gone. That is switching over. It's almost like some people think that, you know, maybe Russia was separating their internet to keep internet because it's going to be controlled so hard by the U.S. and by different, you know, powers that be. It's very weird. And by the way, it's not even the U.S. It's NATO. It's all these different groups. It's the people above everybody that are, you know, talking about completely controlling the flow of information. So something is very odd. And then they've talked about with these vessels, they've talked about how they have, you know, nukes that they could put underwater that would cause 300-foot tsunamis. They've talked about these hypersonic missiles, and some say that some of these could actually launch those, that, you know, that they're altering these ships. Like there was a research ship that was that they caught. It was about 4 or 5 years ago, but underneath it did have some sort of launch capabilities, but it looked like a normal boat. You know, military designers are designing stuff like that all the time to kind of, it's kind of like the mini gun in your sock type of thing. That's how I look at it. But as far as this goes, this is a big deal because they're constantly covering them coming on our shores, us coming over there. If you see outside of the United States, actually multiple countries were very concerned about this kind of exchange. But I don't know. It's like, you know, we know they're there. Is this just kind of a mind game? What do you think about this, Dex? What's your opinion on why they were kind of coming close?
Yeah, the other thing that's interesting to me is the U.S. interest in what I guess the president of Russia said was he was putting out a drone, an underwater drone, with a very large nuke on it. So, you know, of all the things that we're going to be watching the water for, you know, whether it's the spy ship or these new technology that's coming out that we have no idea about. Like we hear it's there, but we haven't seen it yet. At some point, we're going to have to identify it and figure out, how do we identify it? How do we track it? You know, what's our defense to these different things that are being created by our adversaries? So that's kind of an interesting thing to think about, is, you know, the new technology, especially the underwater drone technology that may be coming from the other side.
Now, somebody, who said that, dang it? Wharton Pissel says, control the power grid and you control the masses. Blackouts. With everything that's going on with this, Dex, I mean, no, I think you're right on this. There's a lot of connections here that people could make. Somebody talking about the power grids, the satellites, Space Force, the things that are going on right now, the money, where it's going with NATO. You guys are, I just wish some of the new information that I just got, it's really kind of sad. I can't say it all here. And again, I'm not putting it anywhere where you have to pay. You should go to the alerts. I want to write, I'm going to have Dex help me kind of write out a very well put together thing that kind of explains all of it. It's really, really scary where we are headed. It's going to get even worse for people like me. If people thought that like the COPPA and the January stuff is a big deal, you have no idea. This is like the scariest thing that's ever happened to the United States people since ever. I mean, this is the complete, you know, dissolving of every little, you know, mark on that Mr. Constitution, which, by the way, is a filtered thing. That word, pretty sad. With this ship going off of here, everything that's going on, we are looking at everything. We're also, and it's so weird. Do you guys think it's kind of funny that still the Skyking messages website is completely down? It used to be a volunteer website that would record the Skyking messages. The amateur people that would listen to the Skyking messages would go to Skyking. What was the website called? I know.
I think it's EAM Watch.
EAM Watch, and they would list all the Skykings. Now, Skyking messages are, how would you describe it? They're basically the nuke orders messages, but they're also, from the very top, they supersede all other messages. Is that a good way to put it? I'm not.
Yeah, they put out different types of messages on different frequencies using a UHF band, and anybody can hear them, but they're coded. They're secret messages. So if you don't have the decoder, it means nothing to you. Well, the Sky Kings are the highest priority. In other words, they take priority over everything, and they're usually, we think they're usually used to tell, you know, large important assets like a, you know, nuclear plane or sub or something like that, passing it information on what to do.
And so say Dex was a pilot with a nuclear payload. He would have, what would you have? You would have like a book, right? And it would have the decode, and it would be put in there
Right.
on that flight. And then they would send out the Skyking, and essentially this pilot would just keep going in the direction that he was told until he got a Skyking messages that told him otherwise. And then he would have the decode in his plane. And what happens, like if it was screwed up or something, or if they had to change plans, isn't it like they can't really do it? It's so encoded that it's between them and the plane that's actually flying, and because it doesn't give away their location as far as like if somebody intercepted it. It's really crazy stuff. But again, that website went down. There's a lot of weird things going on, especially with the internet. I mean, we're talking about, sites that kind of monitor these things are all kind of quietly going away. And of course, the owner of that, and we've taught, there was actually a message on there that said silence is golden, and everybody freaked out because on the actual Skyking website, after the first time we talked about it, it basically said silence is golden, like saying Marf, shut up. It had creeped out. We still don't know who did it. But again, they took that down, that Skyking message. And then shortly after, they ended up, he said that he has financial issues and had to shut it down, which I understand if the guy's running it, and, it costs money to run a website, especially one like that where they actually, have people post information and apparently recordings, I think, right?
Yes, that's right. They actually had the recording, so that's could be a lot of bandwidth on their part,
which could potentially cost. So we try to look at everything both ways. Which, speaking of which, another thing that we might start doing is we might cover two sides of a story, kind of two sides of a coin. I think that I saw something that was really impressed me, and it was a gentleman who was a kind of a left-leaning person. He kind of went undercover and tried to understand the other side, and he actually agreed with the right a lot more. You'll see a lot of people kind of switching sides, but I think out of both of it, since he was so left and then went over the right and kind of lived on the right for a minute, he actually came out of it kind of being in the middle and understanding the best of both worlds, which we just can't do for the life of us right now. Everybody's like, nope, they're this, nope, they're this. Both sides have their stubborn kind of sides. So I was thinking, one thing that we could do to combat this is, I think, and this is what, this platform does and all social media, is it kind of caters your internet to you. If you notice, if you go through your Google feed, it's all news that you want to hear. It's basically news that's catered to you. It knows exactly what you like. Like me, since I do look up a lot of different EMP related stuff, prepper stuff, survival stuff, that's what pops up. That's literally, that's what it shows me. And it keeps showing me that because it knows I like it. And that's where it can best, feed me advertising so it can advertise to me, right? As far as with that means you're going to stay in your little bubble and you're not going to go out. A lot of people, including myself, we all end up doing this whether we like it or not. We don't listen to outside people because of the labels they've been given, and we hate those labels and everything else. I think we need to stop that, and we need to look at information again from a different standpoint. The internet is literally changing, in one way, the powers that be. The reason why they're getting away with this is because they have valid points. The internet is really kind of screwing up a lot of people with disinformation. But then again, why we are all mad is who gets to judge what is disinformation and what information is that based on? You see what I'm saying? Or who judges what, H speech is? You know what I mean? So yeah, that's one thing that we're going to start doing. I want to read both sides and kind of do a coin flip and see where people are at. Oh, if I could do it blindly and not tell you which one is which, and then see if you guys could tell, I think that would be good too. see if it's from a left-leaning establishment or a right-leaning establishment and see if you could tell. Probably could. It would be like a blind taste test, only on bias. All right, now this is just as freaky for me. Okay, we've talked about Pensacola. Then we had New Orleans. And that was a month after Louisiana as a state was hacked. Now, it is 4 cities that have been attacked by ransomware this month. And that is going after okay, this looks like the setup to a massive 2001, that kind of thing. Like the biggest setup ever. And I'll tell you why here in a second. 4 U.S. cities were hit with ransomware in December, capping off a year of cyber attacks that one cybersecurity firm called, quote, unprecedented and unrelenting barrage. The malicious software and hijacks computers and encrypts files snarled essential government services in Pensacola, Florida, New Orleans, Louisiana, Galt, California, and St. Lucie, Florida. Did you hear that? Pensacola, Florida, New Orleans, Louisiana, California, and St. Lucie, Florida. So they've got the West Coast, the East Coast right there in the middle. What in the heck are they doing, folks? This is what I'm talking about. And they're getting into, look at this, Pensacola government telephone and email systems, internet servers, and the online payment system at the sanitation department and Pensacola Energy were rendered inoperable during a cyber attack on December 7th. This doesn't look like something like they're just doing it to do it for fun. It says a state of emergency was declared in New Orleans after ransomware infected city servers and computers December 13th, on Friday the 13th. In Galt, a suburb of Sacramento, city email and telephone systems were knocked offline on December 16th, and December 17th, the St. Lucie County Sheriff's Office was knocked offline, including the Sheriff's Office email servers and the fingerprinting and background check systems. I'm gonna read this part again. Including the Sheriff's Office email server and the fingerprinting and background check systems. You think that day that some people kind of got slipped through without fingerprinting or maybe background checks? Background checks? Like an employee? Dex? Specifically, we talked about this.
Yeah, the thought that they could be implanting names and putting people in a system. I think one of the callers had called in and suggested if it was a sanitation department, you could easily put a couple of employees in and nobody would know.
Something is huge here, and I don't think people realize it yet. This is a setup for another 2001, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion. You guys give me yours. These are all like the unlikely target, right? These are not... It's not like they hacked into a football game and put something up, or, it's not like they hacked anything fun. This is like very, very specific, and it's city stuff. And it just so happens they got somebody in the sheriff's background check systems. Was anybody hired? Maybe, business went as usual, and they said, well, we'll do it the old school way. We'll just look you up this way. Or we'll call your references. Maybe somebody got hired. Maybe somebody got put in as an employee, started that day, and they never did the background check. I don't know. But we specifically said this before this came out. This came out today, talking about this. And that caller came in, and we talked about it, and a bunch of people agreed. The sanitation stuff, like, you could get government employees in with exempt plates, say exempt vehicles that could just roll right into places. Some people are actually seeing what I'm seeing. On the back end, the stuff, I want to put out some stuff in the alerts on the back end of stuff. There's something massive brewing. We might get knocked off. So I hope you guys fight for us if we do. I think that whenever you get close to something, something happens. And haters can hate all they want, but watch. It says it's not clear which groups were responsible for any of the December attacks, though a group called Maze claimed responsibility for the Pensacola attack, or hack. Just to remind you, this is not the first one, and this has been multiple in a row of city systems. It says in a typical ransomware attack, victims are sent a letter demanding a cryptocurrency payment in exchange for a digital key that will decrypt infected computers. The hackers who claimed responsibility for attacking Pensacola demanded a $1 million ransom. It is unclear if the city paid the hackers, but according to the Pensacola News-Journal, the city did pay consulting firm Deloitte $140,000 to investigate the attack. Oh, yeah, they paid. Because guess what? I think they put them in such a position where they would have had thousands of, probably millions in lawsuits. See, they don't just hack and say, oh, we're going to do this. They hack stuff that's extremely crucial, and then they ask for the money. If they release it, then, then they've got way more than that on their hands. They've got $200 million in lawsuits or something because information that wasn't supposed to get out, and obviously they didn't have good enough security or whatever. They'll make it, they'll open up obviously they're getting in a doorway that they probably left open. So then they would be held responsible. It says the city of New Orleans has not disclosed if it received a ransom letter. Officials indicated that the city would bounce back, but said recovery could be slow and costly. One positive about being a city that has been touched by disasters, New Orleans Homeland Security Director Colin Arnold said during a press conference, quote, "Our plans and our activities reflect the fact that we can operate without the internet and without a city network." Without the internet and without a city network. Yeah, actually, New Orleans, out of all places, since they did go through that, a lot of the people might be a whole lot better off the second time around. That is something to think about. Also, Dex, don't you think some of the information that might be housed in those less crucial areas could reflect in like blueprints or something like this on government buildings or something like that?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, look, hackers always have cover, and there's always cover in what they're doing. They're just taking the hack in general. The cover here is, oh, it's ransomware. So they're just trying to make a buck. That's not what's going on. And it's quite frankly could be that's the cover story. Because something else, it's like, look over here while we do something over there, and you're not paying attention. And everyone's worried about the lockdown systems and having to pay the bill and the other thing that's happening. That's what's going on. And if they have access to all that data, that they can lock it all down. They have access to all that data that they can copy it, pull it out, infiltrate it, do whatever they need to do to it.
Now, your time as you were kind of you were very high up in tech companies. Now, did you guys ever, any of the companies you worked for, did they ever have any kind of serious break-ins like this or anything that kind of got close that scared everybody?
Oh yeah, every company has a security, some sort of security issue. It just happens. It's the nature of being in the tech space. The real question is how you deal with it and how you prevent it and how you hopefully mitigate the amount of damage that can happen when these things happen, right? Because they're going to happen. There's always a vulnerability. There's always something that someone figures out a way through the door, and you just hope that you've been able to prevent that person from doing too much damage, and then you can fix it quickly.
Yeah, I just think I think people are going to start seeing that this could very well come in, and they could grab part that people are going to be like, oh, who would care about that? Sanitation. What if they're getting sewer blueprints? Would that be under sanitation, or am I totally wrong?
Yeah, I don't know. It might be. I think that's under the water department. But the other one was the energy department. Did you see that? That was the energy department.
So that would be grid. That would be grid stuff.
Yeah.
And people don't understand that these are the little things that just kind of go under the radar. Now they are stupid though, because this is to any. And what's crazy is, who is noticing? This is 4 in just like a week. You would think they would space it out. That tells me that something is going to happen soon, or they have to do it this way, because if they did 1 in 1 month and then 2 the next month, that would be a month for, say, they spent $140,000 to investigate these people. Maybe they are doing something so fast that by the time that $140,000 is spent per city to investigate who it is, the event has already happened. That's why, look at this. And this is all happening in December, right before New Year's. Does anybody see this? Somebody says, Mike Morales talked about this. Good. By the way, Mike Morales, awesome guy. Last time I was in his chat, he knighted me. He actually made me a mod in his channel, or an honorary one. I would never mod in another channel, but I took it as an honor. Awesome guy. Somebody says Trojan horse. Exactly. Like there's so many things that this could be. None of them are good. Absolutely none of the situations are good. Are the people the higher connected to the hack? People says, yes, I do see it. Yeah, I do. 4, when I'm MIA, I bet you can see my sis somewhere. Watch for banks also. And, there's always that fear in the back of a lot of our head. Like, if you are what is called the truther, there's always been the fear, the rumor on the internet that, like, on a Friday, the banks would shut down. You wouldn't be able to get your ATM stuff, all that. That is something that a lot of us freak out about. There's some people that say from Behold a Pale Horse, what's his face, Mr. Bill, he actually said to not even be home on a holiday because of all the things that could happen, as far as the changes that could happen, because some have predicted that it would happen on like a Thanksgiving or a Christmas Eve or something like that, where it was a big holiday. They would come in, everybody's at home, everybody's together, everybody's gathered. And there's a lot of crazy stuff that this could be connected to. Somebody, gosh, I wish it didn't go by so fast. Somebody said Pensacola is a big military Navy place. They must be getting hacked. Banks are empty.
Yeah, there's a huge air base there.
Oh, Bill Cooper, thank you. It was going right in. I was trying to look for it. You know where you can't access it. Airbase. Well, what about all these SA residents that went AWOL after learning how to fly? What about, have we found that plane, by the way, the one that went to Antarctica? It's not like just a normal plane. It's a C-130 Hercules.
I believe we heard they claimed to find some wreckage.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if anything's bigger than a bread box. Who knows, though? And then Malaysia flight. You know what's so crazy? They finally tried to say they found Malaysia, right? They said that they kind of figured it out. What if that jet was being parked in a if something like that happened, it's not beyond belief to see that they would hold on to a plane for 10 years. They were planning since like 1992, or at least that, some of the things that were said. From 92 to 2001, it took, 9-10 years to plan whatever that was. You know what I mean? No matter who was involved, whether it was, them, us, this, that, no matter who ended up planning it, apparently it took around 9 years to kind of put into place. The people involved, everything else. So it would make sense that, 5-6 years ago, a plane goes missing and gets put into a shed or something. I don't know. It's just, this is all so weird. What do you guys think? Operation Bluebeam? I don't know. Never know. And to put into this, and this is all, I think everything is connected. There's no coincidences. No school, no trains, no Eiffel Tower. France on strike. Now, Dex, we were talking about this, and you actually kind of, I was trying to put it into words, and you put it into much better words. When we're talking about the stuff with NATO, when I told you about the NATO stuff, you said, "Well, France and all of this going on."
Yeah, I mean, Adam, it's there's obviously a movement happening. It's almost like a revolution going on in France right now. I mean, to literally shut the country down, and it's been going on.
Hold on. Dex, you're cutting out, of course. Somebody says families' identifications found on the C-130 wreckage. Didn't they find like IDs, like perfect IDs on the wreckage at the bottom of some place that kind of collapsed all in one little line straight down at free fall? Can't remember. I don't know. Sounds fishy to me. But I haven't looked totally into that, so of course we will get into that. Dex, are you there? Or did they completely cut you? Did the Illuma donkey kick you in the face? I'm going to disconnect Dex, and then I'm going to try to get you back here. He was right in the middle of a statement there. You there, Dex? Oh, that's weird. Hello?
Hey, Adam, I guess somebody cut my internet off, but I'm back.
It's been super weird. Some of the things we talk about, we've talked about it off air. We're starting to record when we kind of lose stuff and what we're talking about, because we're actually finding coincidences. Like, we're not crazy. We don't think that somebody's just always like ready to flip a switch or, some bigwig. But we're starting to think that it might even be an automated system or something that is cutting stuff between us. It's weird. I know that sounds crazy. Yeah, it is crazy. Anyways, Dex, continue what you were saying about how this kind of all ties into the French, not only French, just countries in general.
Yeah, this is a big revolution, right? In the sense that it's been going on for 13 days. They're pushing really hard. And the thing is, to think that you can shut down an entire city, an entire country, that's just huge. And so, this can happen anywhere, but we're seeing it happen in one of the largest cities in the world.
Just to read the first part of this is big. French union activists cut electricity to nearly 100,000 homes or offices. Just to put that into perspective, one of the largest storms in 2 decades in Seattle knocked out 100,000 homes, and it was a disaster. I mean, it was bad. This was done by people, by union activists. This is like a big deal. No school. Children are not getting educated. No trains. No going between all of these European places between in France. No Eiffel Tower. No touristy things. A majority of France on strike. Now, this isn't just France. These are other European countries, other European areas, everything that's going on. It says Eiffel Tower staff walked off on the job. Even Paris opera workers joined in Tuesday's nationwide protests across France, singing in an aria of anger as workers rallied against the government's plan to raise the retirement age to 64, which I believe right now is at 60. Despite 13 days of crippling train and subway strikes, French President Emmanuel Macron and his government stayed firm. The Prime Minister declared his, quote, total determination to reshape a pension system that unions celebrate as a model for the rest of the world, but the call's unfair and destined to collapse into debt. Lighting red flares and marching beneath a blanket of multicolored union flags, thousands of workers snaked through French cities from Brittany on the Atlantic to the Pyrenees in the south. Air France staff in uniforms, lawyers wearing long black robes, people from across French workforce joined in the strikes and protests in higher numbers than the last cross-sector walkout last week. So this is thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people. This is an entire, this is like he said, a revolution. Enough people were unhappy that everybody just stopped. That's what it takes. And apparently it's not taking yet. What comes next? How do other cities see this? Is this going to set an example for other cities to do? If somebody is a leader, in some of these other places, I guarantee you the government won't treat them the same if they rebel. Look at Hong Kong. Look at all these other places that are rebelling right now. These are the times. Something is happening right now, and it's all in front of us. Here in America and in some of the other places where things are kind of filtered through, a lot of your news, if you've got kind of these platforms, it's filtered through you to what you want to hear. Again, it's a lot of what you want to hear. I think that's why this show, you never know what, stuff we're going to talk about. We try to pick outside of our box. We try to go incognito to find news. We get your news, all these different people with different strings of news coming to them. They share it. I think that's why people like this, because you're getting different news than what they have basically filtered to you, right? All these other places, something is going on big. This is big. And people are going to deny it. They're going to stay in their bubble. Especially the U.S. If you're outside the U.S., you might be a little bit better off. I don't know. I'm not where you are, but I do know that we are very in our bubble. That's why I suggest, go outside your bubble, go in incognito. Actually, yes, good way to do that. Set your stuff to somewhere else. Set your VPN to somewhere else. Unusual late season tornado outbreak leaves 3 dead. Trail of destruction across deep south. Now, I wanted to put tornado in the title, but the basically the algo caught it. So it says the death toll has continued to rise following a tornado outbreak that caused widespread damage across 3 states on Monday. We've seen so many weird things this year. Like, what was it? Las Vegas? It wasn't Las Vegas, was it?
Yeah, it was just north of Las Vegas.
And last year we had a tornado right outside Seattle. Something's wrong with this planet. Everything is going just totally wacky. God is about to come back or something.
We were watching that one last night because it was headed my way and our way, and we were concerned. But it seems like it fizzled out by the time it hit Georgia. But yeah, it really did a number on the lower states.
If you were involved, if you had a run-in with this tornado, or if you were close to it, please let us know. Give us a call. Share your experience with us at 224-400-MARF. Now, New Jersey waitress surprised with $1,200 cash tip. If you want to check out this story, it's more of a happy story. You can always go to marfooglenews.com. Kind of a cool and very positive story. And then, of course, police, marijuana Christmas gifts sniffed out at airport. It says a man who may have been dreaming of a green Christmas found himself inside the gray walls of a Tennessee jail. According to court documents, state police caught Simone Tamararaj, 57 years old, with more than 80 pounds of marijuana disguised as Christmas gifts at Nashville International Airport on Monday. What an idiot. Officers and canine smelled a strong odor of marijuana coming from 3 bags. According to the documents, the officers said that they saw Tamaraj pick up the bags and load them onto a cart. Tamaraj allowed officers to search the bags, which were filled with what appeared to be wrapped Christmas gifts. The items were actually filled with vacuum-sealed bags of marijuana weighing 84 pounds, authorities said. See, oh wow, look at this. He had flown from Nashville to Seattle, the documents state. He was booked into jail and bonded out Tuesday morning. Oh,
I think it's the other way around.
No, from Seattle. So he came here. Yeah. He bought it legally, probably. He bought it. Yeah. We have legal marijuana here. You can just go into a place like it's 7-Eleven. So maybe he thought it wasn't that big of a deal. In Nashville, that is a huge deal. You're going to prison for 80 pounds. Shoot, if you were in Las Vegas, you'd be executed. Just kidding. You wouldn't, but they are very serious in other states.
You know, it may be legal in a state, but man, when you get on airplanes, that's like federal territory. I would never think that you'd want to even try to package that up and bring it in your bags. I'm sure some people do small amounts.
And they could say attempt to distribute too, because he had it in multiple, wrapped packages. That's just dumb.
Oh yeah, and it'll be fed. It won't be state. Yeah, it's going across state lines.
Yep, exactly. That gentleman they're gonna make an example of him. That's pretty sad. Daryl Rodriguez. Adam, where did the name Marfoogle come from? I know it's not your last name, right? LOL. Marfoogle was a rhyme. I was looking for something that was rhymed with Google, and I was just playing around one day and said Google Marfoogle, and people started calling me Marf. That wasn't my creation, and then it was originally Marfoogle Watutu News. And then I took the Watutu out after I kept it for a very long time, and that's only because the first video where I got a shout out was from Tyler from Secure Team back when we had the false missile scare. He shouted me out and used a clip of mine, and I got my first maybe 1,300 subscribers. So it was kind of the equivalent of how I do shout outs now. That's what got me my start. And then from there on, I put a lot of effort and a lot of time into it. I think I had 7 subscribers at the time. John Iverson says, keep speaking truth to power. Thank you so much. I appreciate your support. Mark Sketch says the USAF to disclose the Aura hypersonic attack spy aircraft. The prototype was seen landing the last few days. They will only say it's faster than Mach 6. Wow, that is fast. Put that in perspective. I think that could probably go in about 10 minutes from Venezuela to Miami in about, 8 minutes or something. Serendipity 23, thank you for subscribing. Welcome to the fam. As always, if you subscribe during the live show, you will get a shout out. We've got just over 3,300 people watching. Ilea Love, why doesn't Santa have kids of his own? Because he only comes once a year. Yuletide greetings, Foogle Fam. Yeah, but that would still mean you would have I guess the odds would be against you. Ilea Love, thank you for your support. Mark Sketch, in Afghan, when the UFO orbs were in sight, it would affect our communications, even our man-to-patrol radios. This happened 7 times over a week. Mark, I would love for you to call in and talk about that kind of stuff. Mark Sketch, witnessed UFOs during my tour in Afghan. Locals see regularly and don't pay much attention. We were to report if it seemed to be of importance. Thank you for letting us know that, Mark. Again, you should call in and let us know that. Kim Marie Harris, love the show, Marf and Foogle Fam. Poppy Star, thank you for subscribing. Welcome to the fam. And then Baby Yoda, thank you again. I didn't actually get that. Kay Nissen and William Tester, welcome to the show. All right, if we're going to get to the phone calls right now. If you guys do want to end up helping support us, you can do something to protect yourself. This isn't like a normal affiliate, because I truly believe that this is going to end up saving lives. We directly talk to Andrew all the time because they are doing big things. They are actually working with the actual Texas grid. They are part of the DEMSO team, the electromagnetic pulse. This whole thing is turning into a huge deal. Like I've said on Twitter and other places, there is going to be big news released soon about this. I have put out a lot of evidence that shows people they should absolutely be not only worried about this, but at least prepared for it. Because guess what? If everyone had something like this attached to their house and to the grid, we would have no problem. Literally. I mean, and that's what they are trying to do. They are teamed up with the DoD, Homeland Security, the Texas grid. They are actually working. This is Keystone tested it. What the EMP shield does is it grounds a signal before it has a chance to fry your devices, your cars, everything else. It works against all three phases, E1, E2, and E3. And then again, it can actually protect you against lightning in your house. Again, you can get for your car, ham radio, solar systems. If you have those installed in your bug out spot or even on your home, that's what these things can actually protect. Everything from home to car, motorcycle, RV, everything. So again, go to marfooglenews.com/EMP if you want to learn about them. They are still doing their $125 off per device. That's $50 that they're only giving to the Marfoogle family, and then $75 that continued on. We had so many people that said, "Oh, I can't get it for a week" or this. So many emails went to them. They ended up extending that past Black Friday. So that's essentially their Black Friday deal. And then if you want to protect yourself, like I was saying, if you want to go incognito and see something else with NordVPN or any VPN, really, you can actually do that. The reason why I chose Nord is because I had one before this and I still had problems. And as you guys know, I've gone not only through drama, I've had people attack me. I've had people set fire outside my old house. I had people, I've had people stab my tires. I've had people break out my windows twice. This is why I've moved twice since I've started this. I've gone through a lot. My family's gone through a lot. This should have been in my freaking repertoire the whole time. NordVPN is super easy to use. You turn it on, you turn it off. It can actually protect up against 6 devices. It is essentially a way to hide yourself. If you do a lot of stuff online or if you're watching a lot of videos, you never know. You could click on one link and then they could have your entire life. Dex, just a short little thing from you, because obviously you're the tech master, basically.
I mean, Adam, you said it perfectly. That link that you can click on, I'll quote John McAfee, who said social engineering has become about 75% of a hacker's toolkit. That's what they're doing. They're socially engineering you, and you need to protect yourself. You got to have something like a VPN to hide your IP and to encrypt your traffic so they can't get in there and can't infiltrate you.
Yeah, exactly. And again, this helps the channel out. We are completely transparent. All the money that is going to this, we're trying to improve the channel. We're trying to become a real news outlet. So if you want to help the support of that, it would be absolutely amazing if you guys can go through ours. Either way, though, as far as NordVPN, I would get a VPN in general. This is a general suggestion for the Foogle Fam. If you're in the Foogle Fam, even if you don't go for Nord, go for something. They are actually giving up to 84% for our deal on their best plan. And then if you do not want to go through us on EMP Shield, Go through them anyways. Go through a different YouTuber, whatever you have to do. Get an EMP shield. We think that this will actually save lives when it comes time. And then EMP shield is so cool. They actually have ways that you can make the cages, the Faraday cages. So they're actually teaching you how to avoid using them too. If you can't do everything with that. But for smaller stuff and stuff like that, they even show you how to do it. Again, they really do care. They have government contracts that will be able to fulfill their needs for the rest of their life. They don't need the residential stuff. They do it because the owners, and if you know, one of the one owners is so in part of our community, it's not even funny. One of the original founder, creator, inventors or whatever, he has a website just like mine. He talks about everything we talk about. So again, these are like right down our alley. You guys need to check them out. And they're backed up, Keystone tested. All right, and then we're going to get into our notifications just so we don't get in trouble. Nothing in the show should be considered legal, medical, or financial advice. The views of the callers can differ considerably and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of myself, Dex, or anyone else who helps with the shows, including the mods. You should always do your own research and consult with professionals. So if somebody says put a laser device up your young hole and to get vitamin D, you might want to talk to a doctor about that. The internet is full of fake news, so please take everything with a grain of salt. I almost said a groin of salt. And with that being said, make sure to check out marfoogle.news. Type it into any browser, and that will bring you to our main channel. It is now over 147,000. They don't show you, but we're almost at 148,000. So closing in on 150. If you want to share this channel, all you have to do is tell somebody marfoogle.tv. If you want to join our Creators Corner, go ahead and hop in there, marfooglenews.com. Here's where this is important, marfooglenews.com, the alerts, what we're going to tell you about NATO, everything, that is going to be through the alerts. We don't blitz people. In fact, we've done about 8 or 9 total emails, and we've had this going for like 8 months, 9 months. Get in there. We have, I believe, over 30,000 people on our list, and it's growing every day. It's because this is where we would tell you, if we get any kind of notice, if one of the 300 active or retired military folks gives us any information that we feel prudent to let you know about, we're going to let you know through Marfoogle Alerts. If we get knocked off, we would let you know through Marfoogle Alerts. If if something changes, schedule completely turns around, we would tell you through Marfoogle Alerts. Go to marfooglenews.com at the very top. You'll actually see it right there. It's super easy. And there you can join all of our other stuff. Creators Corner, we are sticking together. All small creators, doesn't matter what size, I would still say reach out. We ask 100 subs and 20 vids just to show you're a real creator and you just didn't make one video to kind of say you're a YouTuber. That being said, we are going to stick together, and there's big stuff coming up. There's purges, so stick together, guys. Missing notifications. This is a big deal. Dex helped design a system so we can actually get notifications out. It works on all browsers on Android. Website notifications are now available. iOS is coming soon. Big things are coming soon, so please stick with us. We actually take everything and put it back into improving this so we can help and reach more people. So this notification system is awesome. It is 100%. Again, if you get my notifications tomorrow, the next day from a certain platform, do this. Go to marfooglenews.com. A little thing will pop up in the corner. Just click it and boom, you'll be set. It looks like this on some, and then it will be up in the upper left-hand corner on others. All right, and then if you want to support us in a different way, if you do grounding or if you do earthing, or if you don't know what the heck it is, go to marfooglenews.com/earthing. I sleep on the mat. It's helped me tremendously. It's helped my sleep. It's helped my digestion. Can't say any more about it. Some people say that they have, there's tons of testimonials. We don't do that kind of stuff. Honestly, there's enough people in the Foogle Fam. It's like word of mouth. It's one of those things, once you do, you try to turn your family onto, you get it for Christmas gifts. If you know somebody with arthritis or anything inflammation, if somebody has sleep in the family, these are great gifts too for Christmas. Again, you can get free shipping with the code MH. Go to marfooglenews.com/earthing. You can actually watch the whole movie if you go to marfooglenews.com/GT. It's got Amy Smart, Muriel Hemingway, Deepak Chopra. It's totally free, no ads. You can watch the whole movie about it right there. Boom. All right, so let's get it pop-a-loppin'. Again, and people hate on us for doing any affiliates. We're going to do them. We have to actually, unfortunately, we're going to have to build up, and we're actually going to have to defend ourselves at one point. Judging at what is going on right now, we most likely will have to get some sort of lawyer or to get us back on. So it's not a fun environment to be a YouTuber, especially in this thing. So if you can, support us. If not, don't worry about it. Share and like our videos. Oh, and click that dang bell. That's a huge deal. And not only for us, check everybody you know. Check all of your other favorite creators. Check if you're clicked on that bell. Check if you're even subscribed. They just did another one. We lost like a good 2,000 or something in a week. That's because they're cleaning them out again. So if you've ever noticed, you're like, hey, I thought I was subscribed to that channel. Go check all your subscriptions. Go to your subscription tag. All right, we're going to take phone calls here. Kim Marie Harris says, love the show, Marf and Foogle Fam. Thank you so much. Poppy Star has subscribed. K. Neeson. William Tester, thank you so much. All right. All right, Dex, let's bring it on home. Boom. All right, let's see here. All right, you are now live on Marfoogle TV. Marcus, talking about the moon phase.
Hey, Adam.
So, go ahead.
Go ahead. Okay, so last night and again tonight, I'm seeing the moon, and I'm in Dallas, Texas, so I'm headed back that way. Instead of it being vertical, split in the middle, it's horizontally split in the middle. The top half is black, the bottom half is lit. What in the world would cause that?
Okay, so do you guys get exactly what he's saying? He's saying normally you see the moon and the shadow on one side. In fact, I bet you if I pull up any picture of it, it will be side by side, and then the stereotypical thing is side by side. So I feel like I've seen this like a couple weeks ago and thought the same thing in my head.
Yes.
Let's see.
It's just so weird looking.
Okay, so here's all the pictures that pull up, right? Here's the thing though. There are a couple pictures. So you're saying it was it perfectly horizontal?
It's not perfectly horizontal. It's just slightly. It's high on the left, and then dips down a little bit on the right. I mean, it's just a little bit.
So does somebody have an explanation that they could put that in chat? Dex, do you know the answer to that? I don't know if you heard that question.
Yeah, does anybody have a telescope that can look at it? And, is there some object, covering the top half? I mean, are we even supposed to be having a full moon right now? Because that's basically what it looks like, but maybe there's something blocking the top half. Otherwise, what should the phase of the moon be in right now? Seems like we just had a full moon on the 13th. So,
well, it seems to me every year they have different. It's like a new cycle we've never even heard about happens. Like they'll say, "Oh, this is a once in a lifetime thing, and it's going to be 4 moons in a row." And it seems like every year for the last 3 years, it's like biblical signs of moons, but yet it just keeps going. Even crazier moons the next year. So I don't know. I did notice a couple weeks ago, I thought that the same thing in my head. I saw a moon kind of like this, and I thought, how how does that work even? Is it every 3 years you see it like this, or I don't know. I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah. Right, and nobody's talking about it. I haven't heard any of the weathermen or anybody else like, yeah, look at the moon this week, and you're going to see that not only is it, apparently full the whole time, but the top half's going to be cut off or whatever. It's just, I don't know, man. It's weird. But I just making sure I'm not, I haven't lost my mind. And like, oh yeah, this is normal, and they call it blah blah blah,
Well, somebody said that winter moon is like that. I don't know. But
check the screener. I gave you a link.
Okay, so Dex actually probably has some. He has the moon phases, so I'm going to open this up and actually show you. Let's see here. Bam. Okay, so this is not the best. Did you find something that was not made on DOS?
Yeah, I know this is a little old, but it does explain the horizontal crescent moon. Sorry.
I was expecting like Oregon Trail to come on. What the? Oh, okay. All right. So it does kind of have a graphic here, though. Northern Hemisphere summer, Northern Hemisphere winter. So it's where the sun is shining, and then the moon, because it is over there, would be there. I mean, there's some people that are saying that it's all BS anyways, because the Earth isn't this, and you guys get my point. And but yeah,
right.
I don't know. Well, but thank you for calling, and definitely something that I'm sure will probably be answered in detail by one of our extremely smart viewers. So always watch back. If somebody asks a question on the show, always look back at your call and look at the chat. There's so many incredibly smart folks here that people usually answer it within like 2 seconds. People call me out all the time. I'm usually half the time I'm wrong, so I appreciate having everybody's info here. Is there anything else that you wanted to call out while you're here?
Yes, just wanted to say have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Well, thank you so much, too. Well, Merry Christmas to you, and Happy New Year as well.
All right, take it easy.
All right, have a good night. Bye, Marcus. All right, this one, we have had a previous call from him. I have not heard from him in a while. Under Alien Control, what is going on?
What's up, Marf?
How's it going? So, let's see here. What did you want to talk about tonight?
Oh, well, I figured we'd just talk about UFOs since you brought it up. I got you a clip. You should roll that beautiful beam footage.
Okay, I've got the got the link here.
Not only can they shut them down, they can shoot them down. So when you see those big fleets flying up there, maybe that's saying, don't forget, we can handle that.
Okay, so do we need to hear the audio on this?
Yeah, he's going to tell you what happened.
Okay, one sec.
He's operating this giant telescope camera recording this Atlas missile launch.
Now, is this copyrighted though? Is this going to screw up our whole show?
It's from a Larry King special like 10 years ago.
Well, a 50-year-old song ruined my whole show, so you never know. Okay, hold on.
Well, see what
and as I watch,
I'll just commentate.
Okay, so I turned off your audio. I'm going to turn on the show audio here. Hold on one sec.
And flying down range, we got all 3 stages of powered flight. And as the dummy warhead and the package flew on down range, we were all celebrating the fact that we had seen the thing and accomplished the mission. When I got back to the base with the film the next day, I was called into the office of Major Florence J. Mansman. And there were 3 people in gray suits standing in there. There was a 16-millimeter camera and a screen setup. Major Mansman said, "Lieutenant, sit down and watch this." And he turned down the lights, turned on the camera, on the projector, and the film came on. And I recognized it as the film that we'd shot at Big Sur the previous day. Toward the end of the flight, I was looking at Major Mann saying, "Pretty good stuff, huh, sir?" And suddenly he said, "Just watch this." And as I watched, the warhead, the dummy warhead, the chaff that was put out in front of it as a decoy to deflect the Russian anti-missile tracking radar. Everything was flying along, and suddenly, in the same direction this stuff was flying at about 8,000 miles an hour, an object came into the frame, shot a beam of light at the warhead, flew up to the top, shot another beam of light at the warhead, flew around the direction it was flying, shot another beam of light at the warhead, flew down, shot another beam of light at the warhead, and flew out the same way it came in.
Well, I don't see it. Why didn't you see this when you were shooting it?
Well, it was 600 to 800 miles away from us.
Oh, I got you. And they confiscated.
Well, first of all, the Major Mansman said to me, "What was that? Were you guys screwing around up there?" I said, "No, sir." And he said, "Then tell me what that was." And I said, "We got a UFO." And he said, "Lieutenant, you are never to speak of this again. As far as you're concerned, this didn't happen."
Hold on, guys. I'll be right back. I got to take a break. Okay.
Wow. So that is pretty convincing as far as when you hear it in his voice, you hear him talking. The video, you see the little lasers. Let me go back to that scene real quick. I'm going to pull you back in under alien control.
Said, keep watching. His boss keeps telling him, keep watching.
Okay, one sec.
Flew around the direction it was flying, shot another beam of light at the warhead, flew down, shot another beam of light at the warhead, and flew out.
Look at that. So that's there.
The same way it came in.
Well, I don't see. Why didn't you see this when you were shooting it?
Well, it was 600 to 800 miles away from us.
Oh, I got you.
What in the world? That is so creepy. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm going to play this again.
I got you. They confiscated.
Well, first of all, the Major Mansman said to me, "What was that? Were you guys screwing around up there?" I said, "No, sir." And he said, "Then tell me what that was."
Hold it. Look, I just got to play that one more time.
Flew down, shot another beam of light at the warhead, and flew out the same way it came in.
Well, I don't see. Why didn't you see this when you were shooting it?
Well, it was 600 to 800 miles away from us.
Oh, I got you. They confiscated.
It reminds me, under alien control, it reminds me of the phasers in Star Trek. You know what I mean?
Right.
When in the old one.
Because he said it was light. He didn't say it was electricity or. But that's a rendering of what he saw. But yeah, that's what he saw. But then they told him, didn't they tell you didn't see that, right? Never talk about it.
Well, and somebody says it looks fake to me. Again, this was on Larry King on CNN years ago, and they didn't have the best. Well, also, by the way, this video is in very low quality. I don't know why, actually. Hold on. Let me see if that was just my settings. No, the highest quality is 240.
The event actually happened. He's telling you what happened and what he saw. That's an animation of what he saw.
Oh, okay. I thought it was just a very the quality.
He went around, shot 4 times, and the warhead fell off. That's what they showed him. That's what he was in there with his commander and 3 guys in suits. And then after that, it was, you never saw this. This never happened.
Okay, and okay.
Just showed you that they can stop one.
So this is in response to, we were just talking about how they have messed with nuclear devices, so that when nuclear plants have been turned off.
About that.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so that was in 1967 now. That's 50 years ago, and they were on top of it, apparently watching it then. They were showing you that they could disable one in flight right there. But the story you're talking about is 2 missile silos, Minutemen silos, in Malmstrom Air Force Base. I think that's in South Dakota. and the silos were 10 miles apart. And UFO pulled up to the fence and started doing maneuvers around. They had the guard freaked out. He was screaming at the bug of the things out there. And all of their missiles shut down, and they can't get them up. If they were told off, they not lost. So they were shut down. Okay, and so then they talked to the other silo. They found out the other silo was 10 miles away. That the exact same thing happened to them before. And one of those commanders is already testified before the closing project about it.
You're starting to go digital there, bud. We can't understand you.
Is that better?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So we found out the other silo, the Minuteman silo, miles away. The same thing happened to them the week before. And at that case, the commander said that the guard at the Jack called in and said it's right on the other side of the front gate.
Okay, so your sound is screwy again. I don't know what's going on under airline control, but we are at time anyways. Is there one last thing you wanted to say before you go?
Yeah, but if I'm breaking up, I might as well just try again some other time.
All right, I don't know. That's actually different than what I've ever heard. It's like very digital. Huh.
Yeah, well, all right.
All right. Well, you have a great night. Be safe, be prepared, and Marf out.
All right, you too, brother.
I think you guys can hear it too. Why he sound like a bot, says Galactic 7. Everybody said that sounds like Digital Mountain Man, LOL. A lot of people said he sounded like Matthew McConaughey. All right. Up next, we have Teresa. Teresa, you are live on Marfoogle TV.
Hello, Adam. How you doing?
Good. So let's see here. It says that you've called here tonight regarding the moon phases and fearful and having faith from South Carolina. What's going on?
Correct. Yeah. I just wanted to share what I've seen as far as the moon. I would say Saturday, Sunday, Monday. What I seen of the moon, it was really huge, hanging low, and it was like an orange, deep orange color. And tonight, it's way up in the sky, and it's not as big as the other nights, but there is like a shadow on the very top part of the moon, and the moon is round as usual. I just wanted to say that. I don't know anything about, the moon phases or when and how long they last. I'm kind of dumb in that respect.
I'm not an expert either, so I wouldn't know. But yeah, now as far as the second subject you called in about, and I'm sure, by the way, people will say they either agree with you, they've seen it, or say otherwise. So what do you mean by having faith or fearful and faith? Is that what you said?
Okay, well, primarily I'm talking about since I am in South Carolina. I was thinking about the ship off our coast, which has got me, kind of rattled. And I just wanted to remind people that just because we're fearful or are fearful doesn't mean that we don't have faith. It's okay to be fearful. And I just wanted to remind people that even Peter denied Jesus 3 times, and he was an apostle. And when Jesus was on the Mount of Olives and he went to pray before he was led off to be, here my brain went, led off to be sacrificed. When Jesus went to pray, it says in the Bible that as he was praying, he was in such deep emotional that his tears, his tears became as drops of blood, his sweat or something like that. And it's found in Luke chapter 22, verses 41 to 44. I just wanted to ease people's mind. You know, sometimes we get made fun of because we keep saying to have faith. And I just wanted to remind people of that.
Well, that's always a great suggestion. I think that a lot of people have lost it, and there's a lot of atheists that want to find it. And if you are, that's fine. You know, everybody's welcome here. But again, I think I think that a lot of us are kind of treated like I guess it's so weird to be it feels like Christians are the minority now. I mean, like, literal. Like, it's kind of far and few between now. And
yeah,
you know,
that is true.
The way of it is, too, we're accepting, but it's just, why can't people be accepting of us? I don't get it.
Yeah. And I just want to congratulate you on your new baby.
Oh, thank you.
And I think both of the babies, and both of the babies look like you and your wife.
Oh, thank you.
Both of you in them.
Do you follow me on Instagram then, or?
Oh, I did look on there probably twice.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah,
come say hi over there. That's one of the best places to get a hold of me because not that many people know about my Instagram.
Okay.
It's at Marfoogle, by the way, if you guys want to join over there. Well, thank you for calling in, Teresa. Is there anything else you wanted to say before you go?
Just real quick, I just want to let you know the first time I seen you and your wife was back in 2017. I think y'all were on Mr. Potter's show, I think. I'm not sure. I can't remember because it's been so long ago. Something bad had happened. I don't know if y'all had an earthquake or
Yep,
something.
That's right. And my wife sat by my side. We were up all night because we were told to get our stuff by the door by our military family member. That was weird. What was that?
Are you there?
Yeah,
Your wife were sitting at your kitchen table.
We were told to sit. We were told to get our stuff by the door, and we didn't know what was going on. And now, even now, we know something almost happened that night. We were told to get our bags by the door, and they sat there until we moved from that place. And now they still stay in a little. We have like a chest by the door, which we sit on to take our shoes on and off. That has our bags, and then. Essentially, we were told by our family military source to get our stuff ready and that, you know, they don't know what's going to happen. And we didn't know exactly. Yeah. He couldn't say much more. And then we thought it was Cascadia related. We were just super scared that night. And by the way, there was some people said, oh, you were doing this for that. I had nobody. I did that video for family. I had 4 subscribers, which were family.
Yeah.
I had no motivation to do it for anybody else. And my wife was sitting there scared as heck because she heard the call. She's like, no, she actually corrected me. She's like, no, he said this, he said that. And it was weird because he's called before and he never sounded like that. If you guys haven't seen that video, wow. It's a big reason. A lot of people, and then all of a sudden it just out of nowhere went viral because people could see. We were like just... I don't know.
Yeah,
it was just scary.
Could see the fight.
Well,
it sure was.
Well, thank you, Kim. I appreciate. Thank you, Teresa. Thank you so much for calling, and nice meeting you finally.
Well, thank you, Adam. Thank you so much. Y'all have a good evening.
All right, you have a good night. Okay.
Thank you. Good night.
All right. Be
Bye-bye.
safe. Okay, let's see here. Up next, we have Kim. Sorry, I messed up. I never do. I mess up. I just never call people the wrong name. Waiting on the next caller to come through. Okay, hold on one second. You're not plugged in. And it looks like, oh, that's part of the reason. Got the video going. He's going to bring somebody else in. All right, perfect. And we have, I believe, Kim, right? Is this Kim, Dex?
No, this is Roy Jr.
Oh, Roy Jr. Okay, so we're going to get Kim back on the phone. Roy Jr., thank you for calling Marfoogle TV. How many pizzas would you like?
How's it going?
Good. So let me see. It says that you're a first-time caller, huge shadow with no clouds from the sky on the ground. What's up with that?
Yeah, so I wanted to see if anybody else has seen it. So I live in Montana, as you know, it's the big sky country. And so I was working on a job site, and I was running the dozer. I'm a heavy equipment operator. And I see this big shadow move across the top of the dozer and slowly going, and it's in the shape of one of those, like, stealth jets, you know?
Yeah.
And it was the size... This shadow was the size of 2 cars put together. It was, a good-sized shadow. And when I looked up in the sky, there was nothing. And like I said, there wasn't a cloud in the sky that day. And so, for whatever was making that shadow, had to be flying low, and it was only going like 5, maybe 10 miles an hour.
So you're saying something big was flying in the sky, so big that it left a huge shadow on the ground?
Yeah. And when I looked up in the sky, there was nothing. So whatever it was, could cloak itself somehow.
Oh, creepy. Do you guys get what he's saying? Because I have seen, have you ever seen it where a plane is flying above and you actually see the shadow? It's got to be like the perfect conditions. I've seen that. But when you look up and there's no plane.
Like, and there was nothing in the sky.
See, I do believe that happens.
Like I said,
we have cloaking technology now. I mean, part of it is even public. So I honestly think that could very well be. But you would think that would be a dead giveaway. That would be a dead ringer, right?
You would think. But like I said, I mean, they were flying right through the middle of town. And when I looked up, there was nothing in the sky. It really freaked me out.
It would. How big was the shadow, though?
It was about the size of 2 cars. And like I said, it was in the shape of like one of those black stealth jets. They're the F-117, I believe. Nighthawk.
So actually, this is this graphic doesn't quite work. But you can see. So say the sun is coming from this direction. The plane is up in the sky. So say space is sky. And then the shadow coming down, depending on where the sun was, it was the size of about 2 cars. See, when you see a plane's shadow coming from the sun, it's actually a lot bigger, isn't it? I guess it depends on how it hits it. You would think that would be a relatively small object, or would it have to be that same size, or would it be bigger? I don't know.
I don't know that either, but like I said, it was only moving about 5 miles an hour, maybe 10 at the tops.
Yeah. No, I've seen the planes. I've never seen a cloaked. I'm sorry. I should say I have seen things in the clouds where I thought there was something cloaked there. I've never seen the shadow from one. If anybody else had that kind of experience or has pictures of it, please send it in. Is there anything else that you kind of, over the time of watching me, have you ever, you've still got a minute and a half left. Is there anything else you wanted to bring up?
Yeah. My dad called in about a week and a half or so ago, and his name is Roy. He brought up the naval maps.
Oh, yeah. And didn't we end up making a clip of it?
Yeah, and I was just going to say, he's not lying about that. I remember the day I came home from work after he talked to that guy. And my mom, like I said, she always believed that we were just conspiracy theories, and she was pretty shook up that day because she realized that this stuff's really going on.
Okay, so if you guys don't know what he's talking about, so your dad called in and we made a clip on main channel of it, he called in and we took his call. We put it on main channel because what he talked about. Okay, here's the thing. I've talked to somebody about this now. I've talked to an actual pretty high up military person. He said that the circumstances around the map are very hush hush. They put out this fake map. They put out a lot of disinformation around it to kind of distract you. There's no exact map, but they do know that the entire United States is going to have its coasts redrawn. So check this out. And they know at some points where the places will crack. It's not going to be California just falls off into the water. He said it's not like that. And this is from somebody I trust, right? So we ended up putting this out after I talked to somebody, and I don't feel all, people can hate all day. They can say, oh, this is that. This was their caller's viewpoint. So we posted this as a caller's viewpoint. As my personal one, I actually do believe this. So when you go to our website, you can go up here to top. So this is the son saying that he remembers the day that his dad told him this, and he says that's no joke. And his mom thinks they're crazy, but also said that she was freaked out about this. So if you go to the main channel, so Marfoogle News, it says, is the new Navy map legit? When you click on that, you'll get to this, and or you can find it on YouTube, but it's a lot easier on a website. Is the new Navy map legit? Let me just play a second of this. Hold on. It's so funny. Your dad almost sounds like an older version of you. Do you guys do you get told that you sound kind of like your dad?
Oh yeah. The only way you can tell our baby photos apart is because his are in black and white.
That's funny. Here, hold on.
It would happen in my
Sorry, guys.
sons or my grandkids, but my lifetime. They didn't tell us what was going to cause it. They told me that it would happen in my lifetime, not my sons or my grandkids, but my lifetime. They didn't tell us what was going to cause it, but they said, it would happen.
I love that sound. All right, you are on Marfoogle TV. Roy, what's going on?
Hey, Adam, my brother from another mother. Good to finally talk to you, man.
Good to talk to you as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's Roy Sr. and you're Roy Jr. Is that correct? Sorry, I turned you down. So, that's crazy. So, that's just nuts. And so, can you tell me again, so the guy was a naval intelligence guy?
Yeah. Yeah, he was pretty high up. Like I said, he told my dad he sat in the meeting for that.
That is crazy. Well, that's awesome. Well, thanks for calling in and at least giving your testimonial. You guys should call in together sometime.
Okay, will do.
All right. Well, you have a nice
show.
Yeah, tell Roy Sr. that I said hi and thank you. And reach out anytime, guys. Seriously.
Will do. And like he said too, you come to Montana and we could show you some crazy stuff that happens up here.
Okay, I would love it. Whoops, I almost did the sound effect again. Seriously though, we're gonna be going through some places and doing some things. So, we might take you up on that. So, be careful what you wish for. You might get a Marfoogle.
And just
go ahead.
Oh, just one other thing to all the callers. Watch your back when you're out in the forest and don't know what's out there.
I think I remember your dad's first call. Okay, I totally get you. All right, well, you have a great night. Be safe, be prepared, and Marf out. That's awesome. And Roy's first call was about, I believe, Yeti or Sasquatch. And the famous gentleman that does that. I forget the name of him. All right, let's see here. All right, now we're going to get Kim back on. Kim got dropped. There's been a lot of weird things going on. Kim, you are live on Marfoogle TV. What is going on?
Hi, Mark. Just joking. Foogle Family and all. That's Crazy Kim now you get.
What's going on, Crazy Kim?
I had called back a while ago regarding one of the places that you have now found shocking to be up higher on the list, China. I'm weird. I gotta not look at you because then I'm getting turned off by the seconds. But I just wanted to judge on a few notes quickly, stating regarding the Christmas Eve visits, I guess you want to say, or gifts, as they call them, going back from 1776. General George Washington started at the Delaware Crossing. That was, at least from what I see, the first Christmas gift. And then you could imagine it hasn't stopped since.
Wait a second. Wait. So clarify again. So you're saying that NK by Christmas gift, is there some sort of other meaning to Christmas gift?
Oh yeah, if you go into researching it, like looking into a little bit more, you'll see that I heard the word even atheist and everything else, and it's like, oh yeah, no, just for people to look into it, But I just saw 1776. Before he was even president, he was just a general, and that was their first Christmas gift, I guess, crossing the Delaware, which again is when I got freaked out about, as I would say, with the Dex, Rob Kardashian's baby mom, surrounding us pretty much. That's pretty much going back to the 1776 Christmas gifts and up till recent. And if you research it, you'll see it pretty much goes on and on and on and on. And as you see China, they're telling us about our Christmas gifts. And
so can I read this one little part? It says, from reading the title of this post, those familiar with George Washington's record may be thinking this post will be about the 1776 surprise attack at Trenton.
Yeah, there's the Delaware and everything else, which again, like I said, I'm literally, it's all boom, 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 all right around me. You look into the United Nations and where they were created, it's right there.
So NK is trying to say, we'll surprise attack you. And I think people kind of see right through that, right? Yeah, well, I'm surprised people haven't said this on mainstream, right? I don't think they have.
Yeah, I've researched into this. I don't know. My intuition just guides me to, I could care less about it. For some reason, it just guides me to the most awkwardest things. Then poof, however long time, the conversation comes up, and then it's like, well, I remembered that. Let me just check because I don't remember the date, but he was so general. And given the fact, like I said, there's so many things like the Falun Gong, whatever, which is what I originally called it, I all freaked out. I'm like, I don't know what to say, and I don't want to, get knocked off, which, or anything else by saying anything. Pretty much 1776 going forward, this is nothing new. As they say, nothing new under sun or suns or whatever.
Now, by the way, Jess said something. Seth Rich warned us. Is that something related to what we're talking about? Let me know in the chat. Now, Gail Firestorm said Jess Webb. Yes, he did. To the Seth Rich warned us about this, about something. Now, for you though, Kim. Now it says you also had a second subject here that you want to talk about. I'm going to look into this, the George Washington gift. I feel kind of stupid,
mine's
like I didn't look this up.
Boop. And then if whoever's interested, they could do it. And my thing is I'm not so, tech savvy at all. I wanted to do YouTube, and then I'm like, yeah, let's just look at it between the phone and computer. And I'm kind of stuck even just with Facebook. So anything I do have or share, it's not edited and can be tested or whatever. But between the UFOs and where I'm, my location, like I said, I think is a very secret hotspot for many things. The Hudson Valley, I guess, upstate New York, Hudson Valley.
Well, in fact, there's actually right in that area where you're talking about, we've actually had previous callers say that there's literally a secret underground thing there, not just like a dumb, but a secret underground.
Oh no, you'd
laser of
think you
some
were
sort.
outside. Yeah, you'd think you were outside. I've heard from an older man visit, like going, to my daughter's school, and he's like, oh, when I was a kid, before they closed off the cave, which happens to align perfectly with the solstices and everything else, they closed it for safety purposes. But when he was a kid, it was not closed. And he said you'd go down there, and there was a beautiful waterfall, and he said you would have no idea you were even underground, which then finally somebody was like, well, how do we know we're not? But either way, point is yes. And I feel, as people were saying, that they do have the abilities. You don't have to send your blood in. You don't have to do anything. The doctors, whichever. Intuitively, I feel goes back to like some type of Hebrewish type thing, which, again, I was led into. I'm not any religion. I'm spiritual, I believe, I guess you could say.
Okay.
But going into that, like my grandmother's last name is Strauss. 1 in a million, you'll meet somebody. Fun fact of the day. Anyway, so then they're like, oh, you're a German Jew. And I'm like, what? I don't even know what that means. And then that's what began the research into that. Yes, the Hudson Valley is very active, like extremely active. Like I look out my window, the same one, which I did comment and saying I was trying to get a picture of the moon, which I could usually see, and Orion, everything's there. And it was like, I've done it through screens before, but you don't really ever see the screen act to the point that I saw it, as I saw mentioned people, discussing and talking about.
Well, slow down weird. Just a little bit. I'm getting super lost. I
know. I'm just trying to like sum up a few topics real quick, and then, but like again, any way I can contact you. I mean, I'd probably send a PO box, or email if you'd even get it, because I do feel I am. I don't want to say TI, but definitely highly monitored. I've, had the black jets of the SWAT standing out the window staring at me, but it is what it is. I mean, I don't really care.
Well, if you just want to I hang up all the letters I get and all that kind of stuff. If you do send a letter to my PO box, I keep them. Some people will send me court cases and things like that. Some people send me evidence that they're a TI. A targeted individual. I read through that stuff. I don't know what some. There's not much I can do, but if I can do something, I always try to reach out and say hi, or if I can. Well, Kim, it was nice meeting you, and
yes, I know you have a beautiful, beautiful soul, beautiful heart, and everything else. It's just my thing is also just real quickly. I feel the tri-state area has, based on the stones that they have that I love, and they're so nice to find out they're actually called nice, but it's GNEISS, for them to be just popping up, which they're supposed to be like really, really, really far down. And how did the Appalachian Mountain truly form? It kind of makes you wonder, like, is there something by us that they're not discussing? And every, magic trick, let's all look this way. Well, something may happen the other way. Type of thing.
Well, I'd love to. You know what you could do is you could send it in writing. Someone was asking. They said they were genuinely curious at what you had to say. Could they ask me to sum up? I am trying to sum up. Somebody else said that you have so much information in such a short time period that you actually do have kind of a collection of knowledge here.
Yeah.
You just got to spread it out over more than 5 minutes. So I will have to watch it back myself to sum it up, but I appreciate your call, and I get what you're saying. You're saying there's a lot of weird stuff going on in that Hudson River area.
I have pictures of orbs. My daughter has pictures of ectoplasm forming into like these gigantic balls of orbs that I've never seen in my life. I have pictures of beings that have formed. The famous astronaut, freaking some silly guy, so we deleted. But yeah, there's many, many, many things. So my thing is like, what would be the best way? Because last time you said Instagram, which I don't kind of really go on as much.
Well, you don't have to. That was
crazy Kim last time with the whole China.
you can get me on Twitter. Twitter, there's several.
And I'm not
ways.
even on the Twitter. I'm like, ugh.
You can email me. You can email me at adam@marfooglenews.com, and that's like my direct. The direct email to our website and through our website, so you don't have to deal with any of the other, the Gmails or whatever. So that would be a good way to get a hold of me too. Or you can actually send me pictures and stuff, physical pictures. If you want to send it in the mail to the P.O. box, I pick it up every 2 weeks or so, because it's, now it's about 3 hours away from my old place. But I appreciate when people send me stuff, and I put it up and I actually hang them up. And if people send art, it ends up on the wall. So I appreciate you as a caller, and Kim, it was nice to meet you again, and I would love to talk to you again, okay?
Yeah, I definitely feel there's a lot of things I'd like to, bring to your attention. And like you said last time, it's a lot of stuff. As I said to him, like, bang, 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 just try to get it out. But just the whole, can I just say one more thing of the fact of the city coastals and everything else and smart cards? Deborah Travers, she really is somebody that people should look into. You can type it, in the top, click the city, and they'll tell you what's smart grid.
We've got people reaching out to Deborah Tavares and all sorts of people. But
I mean is
I do need to be fair, though, Kim.
Kim,
I do need to be fair to everybody because we're way double past 5 minutes. So let me.
I know it's horrible. I can go 5 hours and think it's 5. But the point being is that we'd be kind of trapped. We can't. It'd be way harder if,
To sum up, that's what you're saying. To sum up, we would be trapped. You're saying that the George Washington, the Christmas gift, could be that we're going to be completely, trapped. China, Russia, NK,
that
everybody.
Could be whatever they do, but I just mean in the fact of the coastal, what's going on in the coastals, in however manner. It's going to force us to all be pushed inwards. And then as a herd, you're inwards. It's kind of like a sheepdog. You're easier to, you're all right there.
Well, Kim,
you can't get on your boat and leave because you're probably guarded
yes,
by
I get
somebody that you'd least expect.
Well, Kim, I'm going to have a lot to unpack after the show. I'm going to have to watch this back and try to get it all. Thank you so much for calling,
And
okay?
the smart grid and the guy going from here to all those other countries, I can't say helping them, which he would love to help us, but apparently
okay, Kim,
we say nay to that.
Kim,
but yes,
thank
I will
you so much.
definitely add it all. Everybody have a great night, and thank you so much for listening to me go on and on with all that.
You're appreciated here. I always try to, I just
love
got to
the
be fair to
channel.
everybody.
It's like one of my things where it's like, I love it. I love the people, the family, you and Dex. Great that you have him. So definitely a blessing.
All right. Well, you're welcome here. You're fam. Okay?
Thank you so much. Very much appreciated, more than you know.
All right. Good night. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. Just so you know, no, I wouldn't hang out. And by the way, some people wait 6 months to get on. I don't think it should take that long, but people have waited 6 months to get a hold of me. So if I do get to talk to them, I'm going to talk to them. We're respectful to all callers. Hello, you are live on Marfoogle TV. What's going on?
Adam, a.k.a. Marfoogle.
Oh, it's Murphy's Law. Okay, I didn't see. Murphy's Law, what's going on?
Yes, Phoebe Murphy Wilcox. Hey, Foogle Fam, love you all. I'm sorry. I don't know, YouTube changed this whole thing and you just can't do the classic and go bing and go live. So I don't know, maybe I need to do it from my phone. So I haven't been live in a while, but hey, so the whole Virginia freaking thing that's going on, so many patriots want to go to Virginia. Okay, so the 20th, I don't know the actual date. They're putting all this stuff on the table. It hasn't actually been voted on. And thank goodness, lots of patriots are standing up and saying, yo, ain't going there. Ain't taking our guns. So what I recommend is, hello, patriots, don't actually go to Virginia, because let Virginia figure it out. But every patriot in every state needs to join a militia. Exactly. Yay. Marf, if you're talking, I can't hear you. So
We're just listening here.
But oh, I can hear you great. Thank you, Adam. I can hear you awesome. So, but about a month ago, Millennial Millie, oh my God, that's such a tongue twister to me. Millennial Millie she had a whistleblower that blew her up with over 300 pages, right? So in these 300 pages showed a lot of freaking bad stuff going on in Kentucky. Okay, there was an IT tech that was paying the board of electors, the person that serviced all of the voting booths, also did all the government freaking computers, right? Not a good thing. It's like having it's like hiring a family to do your business. You just can't do that. So, anyway, Kentucky is starting the proposal as the same thing that Virginia's doing. So I don't know, people. Look, vote for Trump, don't vote for Trump. I don't care. You know what? Here's the whole thing. Vote for freedom. Look up and see the whole thing going on, because people, there's really bad people, and they're in every. Why do you think every country in the world hates America? Hello, I don't know. We got bad people representing us. So I don't care. You know what? You got a Democrat that's better than a Republican, I'll vote for them. And I'm not going to go to a.
Thank you, Brian.
I really wish that people would look at this.
Well, Murphy's Law is, by the way, a good friend of the show, and this is her channel, by the way. When we do these late shows, everybody has had a long day, by the way. I would love to have you call back again, Murphy's Law. By the way, I'm laughing because there's a lot of comments, a lot of funny ones in there too. But just to let you know, Murphy's Law, I appreciate late Murphy's Law. I appreciate early Murphy's Law. And I know exactly what you're talking about, Virginia. In fact, people are all saying Virginia's in trouble. Virginia is a serious problem. Do you agree on that?
We're all in trouble, Adam. We are all in trouble. It's a tough subject. So, you know what? Don't run to Virginia. What you need to do in each and every state, join your local state militia.
Okay. Well, there's a lot of, there's a few. Washington is not the best for militias, but a lot of the Midwest states, they've got a ton of them. But yeah, no. Well, is there anything else that you wanted to go over Murphy's Law before you go?
Yes, Millennial Millie. She had a whole freaking drop. Adam, she had a whole drop on the whole Kentucky fraudulent election. Please look into that. Please just pull it up on your time, right? Everybody, please look at that and see how we're being taken over. United States of America, Marxist, socialist, I don't care what you call it, but we are supposed to be free people, and we can't do it. So there's really evil people that are trying to impose things that are against our Constitution. So, hey, Virginia, we, the American people, at least North Carolina, we stand with you. I'm not coming because, you know what? I'm going to join my militia. I love you.
Love you too.
Murphy's Law out. Hey, show me Show me McDougal with the security sweater on.
Well, McDougal's actually upstairs. I can't even have him anywhere near the show. He starts barking and goes crazy. You guys probably hear him usually. He goes outside. If he's even let outside during the show, he goes straight to my window and runs right into the glass and starts barking. He is a what do you call him?
Take a picture of it.
The mix of
I loved it.
Dachshund mix, and he is
loved it.
just not the smartest dog, but he's just an awesome dog. Well, Murphy's Law.
But he loves you, and he
does.
is your security.
We
Murphy's
found him.
Law out.
Murphy's Law loved. All right, you have a great night. Okay, bye bye. We found McDougal at our cabin, and he hadn't eaten in a month. He ate only stuff in the woods for a month. And he was there for a month. We know that because our people that own other cabins said that he was up there before 4th of July, and then we ended up going in there in August. So he was up there a whole month with no owner, and we think that somebody dumped him off because he did know sit. He knew, like, shake, but they didn't want him anymore. And I could see why. Oh, he is a handful. He grabs the diapers out of the garbage. He buries things. He begs. He's a pain in the butt sometimes, but he's such a funny dog when he's being lovey. Anyways, let's see here. Spooky Fast 1. Oh, and I by the way, I was trying to not let okay, first of all, I read these chats too. I can see them right here. And sometimes I can't help to laugh. Somebody said something about drinking 5 tall boys, and he's like, I understand 100%. Just something about it. Murphy's Law. Hey, by the way, it's like, what is it, 2 a.m? She had valid points. Sometimes we all, I don't blame her for having a couple drinks after work. She works hard, so. And who knows? Yeah, no, I've talked to Murphy's Law before, and she's always awesome. So she's part of the fam, and she's always welcome here. And by the way, thank you, Brian Woodring, for saying to stay respectful. It doesn't matter who's calling. Let's hear them out and try to decipher what they're saying. You wouldn't do that to your if it was your brother on the phone. You wouldn't do that. Okay. Whoa. Sorry for blasting you too. I blasted you guys big time. Okay, this is Millennial Millie. This is one that she suggested, and it says new whistleblower leak. Documents show Kentucky election was, rigged is a bad word. So yeah, you can check that out. And if you don't know, Millennial Millie is tied to Mr. AJ, Mr. Jones. She thinks she's kind of like one of their people, one of the few channels that's still kind of related to them that didn't get booted. Oops. Yes, Millie Weaver. Millennial Millie. You there, Dex?
Yes, I am here. Yeah, I thought the topic there with Murphy's Law is really important. We've talked about the Virginia stuff and what's going on with confiscation and the uprising, I guess, of the people. Yeah, it's a big deal, and it sounds like the stage has been set for the same thing to happen. I think that was the point she was trying to make, and specifically, I captured that video. It's on our website from Millennial Millie. You guys can go take a look at that on your own.
Well, and yeah, as far as the confiscation and stuff like that, I mean, we could see something far worse than France. We're talking about, in an actual rebellion. If people think that their, rights are being violated and stuff like that, I mean, that's a big deal. Dex, man, we actually did have great callers tonight. We had great information coming out. People shared great things tonight, and then the news was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, this thought of the Christmas Eve or the event we should be paying attention to because something happens every year since 1776. I mean, it's not. I don't know that it's I don't know what it will be, if it'll be anything, but it's kind of interesting to pay attention to, whether it's NK or somebody else, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the whole thing is just going really kooky right now.
Yeah, for sure.
Now Dex, is there anything else that you wanted to add in to that last story or to the calls?
Well, we had a lot. I think the really interesting one to me, if anybody else has seen it, is whether or not you've seen shadows from a stealth ship like that. I mean, the idea that there's a craft in the sky and you can't see it, right? I mean, we all think about this. We fantasize. We've seen it in sci-fi, but to actually have something fly low enough to cast a shadow across the ground, a very large shadow, and there's nothing in the sky, that's amazing.
Yeah, I mean that was. I would not be surprised if we got a bunch of people actually putting that out there. So I would actually like anybody who got that on video or on a picture, and I bet it's out there, to send them to me. You can tweet it to me. You can actually upload photos and stuff like that to Twitter too. It's an easy way to share it to me. Tag me at Marfoogle on Instagram and on Twitter. Again, thank you, Dex, for your services. It's not the end of the show, as some say, but it is the end of the call-ins.
Thank you, Adam, and much love to everybody.
All right, now time to sing songs of satisfaction to the world via the chat. If you've never been here before for the shoutro, it's not an outro, it's not a shout-out. It's the shoutro. It's where I say each one of your names, or at least the ones that are still in the chat, and make a complete fool out of myself. We're going to have fun tonight. It's kind of like the after party after the party, but only no more booze, and they only serve Red Bull. That's what's up. Y'all have a good night now. Be safe, be prepared, and mark out. I'm about to go down. About to walk right. Got a little vodka. Got a Scott Mitchell. Got a Nick Isbell. And a J Bird. Got a Rip Curl. And a J Dog. It wouldn't be possible without each and every one of you. Cindy Hockett, Rose Vanessa, B. Crouch, Nikki, she's gone. Jamie Lee Curtis, Gerald Kazik, and Libby Hoy. We going down and gonna get up with the Sally. Gonna bring down and guns and water with my valley. For Pete's sake, be us, PQ. Gotta bring it back like the Watcher. Able-bodied, you can hear me breathe all night, y'all. Midnight, hey guys, and you dropping down to go. Foogle faction. Cindy Hockett, Agile Littlepaw, Holly Buskirk, Murphy's Law, Brian Cruz, Able Bodied, and Mega Primatitis Kong. Did I say Mega Primatitis? Let's get it rocking in here. Let's change it up because we're fearless. We're ultra fearless. Beyond Ascension, Cindy Hockett, and 11 Pagan 11, thank you for watching every single night. It was the Cherry Boo 65, the Brian Woodring, and the J-Saw 70 by my side. Got the Dex J, got the Brian Woodring, got everybody at that adds a little bar. Go back and we raw Misty Johnson, and do not give up the Misty Johnson, and the Hot Pet Mermaid, and the Alfred Phillips, and Anita Torres going back now. Jason Beckett, welcome back. You shouldn't have quit your channel like that. Gandalf White, tell me what is nice, and then the Donnie Kent trail. Hey, thank you, I can't tell. Barefoot last coming back the world. Jonathan, I suppose I wish you all would have a fun time, now. Don't go high like me for me. Lend us night to be what you do. Jason 78 Roger coming out. Joe and Hannah, Alice Harley, let's not go and bring it back down. Real last girl, CD and JR, Offset, everybody got the rest. Got their phones and Robert and Ryan, gonna bring it back with the landing guys. Gonna go with that really down there. That really down there. Wouldn't be able to do it without you, Nate Higgers. I feel like I did something wrong. And your poor Sky, thank you, I appreciate that. Teresa Rose, what is up? I said Nate Higgers. Like Nathaniel. Hey, witness, Rita Parker, Peacher, 1093. Bones, Speedway, signs, shoes on in the Cherry Boom. Roll Faction and Eilish and Lindy Castellone. Trisha Atkinson. Gotta bring it, gotta get it in sin. Ah yeah, skis the queefer, get it a weefer. I'm about to go, nah, don't smoke the reefer, even though it's illegal. Here you can get it at a 7-Eleven. Hey Captain Superman, thanks for coming. Deal with the nearing and the money. see what they did with their nickname. Not funny. It's so not funny. We're late. It's DJ. This song's dedicated to Jalen. Hey! Hey! Let's have a good time. Let's have a good, good time. How to marry a Polish girl. Gonna bring it back, not a party world. Gonna bring it all the way down. Hey, 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 hey. It's, skate, 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 skate. Oh, 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 you know that DJ, I'm gonna bring back. Yes, you already know it. You got JoJo I Like Me for here, and you're having a fun time no matter what. Alfred Phillips, one of my favorite Phillips in the world. A lot better than a flathead. Tom Collins, your name is as cool as A. Another Tom Collins out there. Jesus Magnus. Carrie Ray, La China Doll. Don't forget Spotsy Love, Karen Reed, Panhandle Prepper, and Skis de Queefa. Rock, slow. That's how he got body for me. Alice Crowley and the Kimmy. Got the twist killing with the killer. I've been Foogle and I've been witness to the same thing that happens. Coming out, everybody smashing out. I looked around and they thought they would get away like rocks. And that's all gonna bring it back. Gonna bring it back. Gonna bring it back. Gonna bring it back. Like Sherry Kazak. The crazy Mexicans in the 1209 4-piece 8 note housing in the rest of my old with the guy that Superman and Yabba do before. I'm brother bringing like barefoot, as a more lax in the town, yeah. Bring it down is fine. Gonna bring it with the CBPG 1093. Do not give up. Osiris, alright. Ain't lying to a man to go nothing with the rap girl. Chuck Norris in the beat. Smashing with one chop. He could just take a chuck down with one chop. He punches a guy in the face and he forgets his name cause he's Chuck Norris. Nobody is as cool as him. This Christmas ornament doesn't hang itself because Happy Pan didn't kill himself. JoJo, I like me for me. I've got the mock sketch hanging by me. With that janky skull, with that, I know. If it's all about that skate, then you know that we just got to play. don't know. How many did stay up, Kate? A witness out here and the stellar waves. I brought it back and nobody hates. A positive channel and says something to me like Brightwood Rain. Jessica Lopez and the crazy Mexican. Danger Jr. Hope it's you. I wish Angelina would hang out with Craig Spurgey with the KD Unity. Justina and the Suzy Q got the Canadian freak over you. Hanging with Watcher 2. Watcher 2. Omega Primatitis come. Doesn't really wanna go sing along. Gonna bring it back around just so I can go sing another song. I stayed up like you and Karen read you too. Beverly McGovern, I just shoving everything down and down. Harold, for Pete's sake, for really, and you really wanna sit with me. Now if we just showed love to each other, it would be so much better than it was before. We all sit in our bubble, we don't know what we're doing. Now Google's telling us well, we need to believe it. I hope we get to 100,000. We're getting there. What are we at? Oh, I can't love mob myself, so what are we gonna do here? I guess we just keep partying. Hey! What are they doing here? 1,000 to go. Watching. What's up with that? Make sure to tell your friends and family if they knock us off before 100, that would really suck. If we get verified, we have a slim chance. Legally. I cause trouble, so they gonna put me off, and you know it's true. They just wanna knock me off. Yeah, let's get it funky now. Let's bring it like all of the friends. Yeah. I just want you to hang out with me. Bring your friends down and we will see. The truth might just go behind your back. Good night, guys. Ooh. Oh, give me some sugar. Oh, yeah. Yourself. Twitter and Instagram if you wanna help. Got all my friends all right here. coast. I wish I could see the look on their face when we make this something to wear.
You want to know what's going on? What's really going on when it happens? Go to MarFoogleNews.com and get Marfoogle alerts along with a Discord invitation where you can find your local state group and get together with the Foogle Fam. You'll find fast friends where you'll share prep and intel, and there's even special groups for former and current military. But don't try and steal the valor of those who have really served. It won't go well for you. The Marfoogle Fam is waiting for you.
Just wanted to say a quick thank you, Skis to Squeefa. She asked, how's Epstein like Christmas lights? They don't hang themselves. Mark Sketch says, want to call in? I have lots and need a few call-ins. I'm from England and not sure the best way. Also want to join military Discord but had issues. Mark Sketch, I have no idea. I will get to you back on that one. Miss Terry Rocks, thank you for subscribing. I appreciate it. Joe Vegas, thank you for subscribing. Les Sherrod, Eric Palmberg, Colleen Luce Wilson, showing my love too. Thanks, Marf, Fam, and Mods. Happy holidays. Murphy's Law, Merry Christmas, Adam and Dex. So much love, Foogle Fam, and God bless. Thumbs up and just a few bucks. Show the love, Foogle Fam. Daryl Rodriguez, Adam, where did the name Marfoogle? Thank you. Have a good night.